Long before the days of Carly Bible, Manny Emiway, and Jaclyn Hill, there was Michelle Phan, YouTube's OG beauty guru. She started out with just a webcam and not only amassed over 8 million subscribers, but created multiple businesses, one which became valued at $500 million. We know it today as Ipsy. She even started a makeup company with L'Oreal. Michelle was admired and praised for being hardworking and creative, a young woman who was raised by a single mother and went from poor to now being a multimillionaire who retired her mother. But somewhere along the way, Michelle began to get involved with certain groups that ex-members have called cults and dangerous. Then she went on a bizarre online rant about how during a 7-day retreat in which she was love-bombed and deprived of sleep, she claimed to have healed a man who had been in a wheelchair for years. This is a look into the darker spaces Michelle entered and what she promoted that caused her followers to lose trust. This is the story and evolution of Michelle Phan, YouTube's original beauty guru.
Following a lead, but I'm in over my head.
Before we begin, a quick word from the sponsor of this video, Secret Puzzle Society. Secret Puzzle Society isn't your typical Match 3 game. It's a thrilling blend of Match 3 challenges and escape room style investigations where you help Brooke solve a captivating mystery within a shadowy secret society. There's always a new case to crack. For an immersive investigation, join Brooke as she explores meticulously designed rooms, each a unique crime scene brimming with clues and puzzles. Uncover hidden secrets and unexpected twists as you delve deeper into the ever-expanding world of the Puzzle Society's web of deceit. I love the variety of characters like Red Raven, a mysterious figure whose allegiances are far from clear. His presence adds an extra layer of suspense to Brooke's ongoing investigation. Uncover the unique personalities and sinister plots of each Puzzle Society member as you explore their custom-designed rooms. Secret Puzzle Society combines fun Match 3 challenges and brain-teasing puzzles that keep you hooked for hours, all in an ad-free experience so you can immerse yourself in the mystery without interruptions. And get ready for a thrilling holiday challenge. This December, immerse yourself in a special limited-time Christmas escape room where you'll help Brooke uncover secrets and solve puzzles. Can you find all the right clues? The beautiful Christmas room is just the beginning. You won't want to miss this adventure. The first 100 players to download using my link in the description box below or through the QR code will receive a special Christmas luxury tree decoration for their own investigation room. Don't miss out. Download now and prepare for the exciting Christmas escape room this December. Now back to the video. Michelle Phan was born on April 11, 1987 in Boston, Massachusetts. Michelle's father worked various jobs to support the family, but he struggled with a gambling addiction and left the family when Michelle was only 6 years old. Her mother, Jennifer, remarried but later left that marriage after it turned abusive. Jennifer worked as a nail tech and ended up raising Michelle and her 2 siblings alone. Michelle told Jennifer's clients how she wanted to be just like her mom when she grew up, but Jennifer told her, "You'll be poor if you become like me. Become successful like a doctor. Then you can make money and be happy." As a teenager, Michelle started a blog on Xanga under the username Rice Bunny, where she said she wrote a lot of dark poetry, saying she was trying to figure herself out at the time. As her follower count grew, she began blogging less about poetry and more about her daily life in art school. To pay the bills, she worked as a restaurant server. She wanted to work at a makeup counter, but no one would hire her due to her lack of sales experience. As she continued blogging and sharing pictures of herself, her blog readers wanted to know how she did her makeup and asked her to film tutorials. This is how Michelle Phan became known as one of the OG YouTubers when she shot her first video on her laptop camera for her Xanga followers and uploaded it to YouTube in 2007. She titled it Natural Looking Makeup Tutorial. Her beginning views were simple, focusing on easy-to-follow techniques and relatable topics. But her big break came when she created tutorials inspired by pop culture, such as her Barbie transformation and Lady Gaga bad romance makeup tutorials. At the time of this recording, both videos have a combined total of 126 million views. Followers flock to Michelle for her approachable style and calm demeanor. Her technique and ability to tap into trending topics quickly set her apart. Along with makeup, she also posted life hacks, DIY content, confidence tips, and even a video titled How to Make a Friend. In a 2023 podcast interview from the Observation podcast, Michelle stated that by around 2012, she was easily making over 6 figures a year thanks to her AdSense earnings and brand deals. But Michelle had already had a little bit of controversy up to this point. One was in a 2009 video in which she told followers to use unused kitty litter and lemon juice as a facial mask, saying it was safe because the kitty litter was just clay. But that's been linked to chemical burns and skin tearing from the sharp edges of the litter. At the time of this recording, that video is currently still available on her channel. Then there was Michelle's 2010 blog post titled Scary Night Ended Up with Blessings, in which she wrote about vacationing in New York City. She said one night around 1 a.m. she was hungry and wanted to get some food, but room service wasn't available. So she made her way to the streets where she first stopped at an ATM. While getting her money out, she said a homeless man jumped up and scared her. Then she began experiencing weird behavior by 2 men. She said they were behind her, but then quickly got in front of her. She said when she walked slower, they slowed down, and when she sped up, they did the same. Michelle said she prayed to her God, asking angels to protect her. She wrote, quote, "I looked to the left and saw 2 guys sitting in a corner eating chicken and rice from 53rd and 6th Street. I knew it was a sign from God that they're good guys because that chicken and rice is my favorite thing to eat when I'm in the city. I quickly walk up to them and ask if I could sit with them for a while. They said, sure, come join us." End quote. The men she believed were following her took off, and Michelle sat next to the chicken and rice guys for half an hour, telling them that she thought 2 men were following her. One of the guys said, "Don't worry, we'll look out for you. You're safe." Michelle said she had a good feeling with the guys and felt protected. She went on to write, quote, "When we were about to leave, I was going to walk back home, and the guy said, 'Hey, wait, you're not walking back, are you?' I said, 'Yes.' They said, 'No, come with us, we'll take you home.' I said, 'The train?' They said, 'No, the trains are really slow right now. It's impossible to get a train and a cab out here this late. We got a car, we can take you home.' At first I hesitated, but I felt peace inside me and knew that God led me to the right people and that everything was going to be okay. I got in the car and they drove me back to my hotel." End quote. During her time on YouTube, Michelle didn't hold back in sharing that she felt she had a spiritual side, or what some might call superstitious. In a Q&A from 2015 titled Pillow Talk 2, Michelle shared that one of the names she would choose for her future child would be Apollo, because there's 2 L's in the name, which in her mind translated to the number 11, which is a very sacred number for her, as she sees it everywhere and believes it has meaning. In the same video, she also shared she believes in the law of attraction. Michelle got her first 1 million subscribers on YouTube in 2010, and 1 year later, she co-founded a company called MyGlam, a monthly subscription-based beauty company that offered curated beauty products in what's called glam bags. The company later changed their name from MyGlam to Ipsy.
Ipsy is a beauty subscription that you receive every single month.
First thing you're gonna do is we take a beauty quiz.
It's easy, it's personalized,
And voila, the products are delivered to your doorstep.
Ipsy gets me.
Subscribe today at ipsy.com/join.
Michelle often used L'Oreal products in her tutorials, and in 2011, seeing her growth and success, L'Oreal came knocking. Michelle became L'Oreal's official video makeup artist, making her the company's first Vietnamese-American spokesperson. Only 3 years later, at 26 years old, Michelle hit over 4 million subscribers. This was when L'Oreal had something else to offer. Carol Hamilton, L'Oreal's president, offered to bring Michelle's dream of a makeup line to life. Under L'Oreal's umbrella, Michelle launched M Cosmetics in August of 2013. She told her subscribers M was me spelled backwards, which was supposed to mean a reflection of me. Michelle was excited, but the initial launch didn't meet expectations. A 5-pan eyeshadow palette was sold for $28, but reviews of the product weren't great. Michelle's largest palette went for $75. Keep in mind, this was 2013, and reviewers said the quality did not match the price point. Some even compared it to Wet n Wild makeup or makeup you'd find at Claire's. Regardless, the launch of her own makeup line with a major brand solidified Michelle's role as a pioneer in what was beginning to be recognized as the creator economy. Michelle was showing the world that creators who weren't taken very seriously back then could go from their own online spaces to wielding massive power in mainstream retail markets. 1 month after launching M, Michelle was featured in the September 2013 issue of Vogue. 1 year later in 2014, her channel hit 6 million subscribers. That same year, she signed with talent agency ICM Partners to help manage her career as a digital influencer, entrepreneur, and beauty expert. And Michelle had no plans of slowing down. In August of that year, she released a book called Make Up Your Life. It was marketed as being packed with Michelle's trademark beauty and style tutorials, stories and pictures from her own life, and advice on the topics she's asked about most, including etiquette, career, entrepreneurship, and creativity. Despite her large subcount, the book only sold around 54,000 copies in its first year. No worries though, because by 2015, Ipsy was bringing in $80 million a year with 1.5 million monthly subscribers. Ipsy would later be valued at $500 million.
Ipsy, I think it's at a run rate of more than $80 million a year right now.
Yes.
So it's huge. And you were 19 when you started this, waitressing, I believe. Couldn't get a job at a makeup counter because you didn't have sales experience. What is your goal now? Because you've got so many businesses that you've built around this YouTube following you've built.
My goal now is to continue expanding my business here stateside and also globally. Asia is a market that I'm very interested in. I was in Beijing, China 2 weeks ago, meeting with all of the different people who are investing a lot in technology. So meeting and seeing how the market there is expanding is something that I'm also very interested in.
It's interesting to see you move into, you have subscription beauty products, you have a whole host of companies, as John mentioned. But we're in a time period where if you just wanted to do YouTube, you could probably make an honest living and a good one at that on YouTube.
Absolutely.
How did you decide, why did you decide to branch off of that platform and do more?
Well, I mean, I've been on YouTube for almost 8 years, so it's been a while. You know, online space, that's a very long time. It's like doggy years. I feel like I've been there for 20 years, and I love YouTube. YouTube is a platform that I'm still going to continue uploading my content. However, I wanted to also expand my business and try other things and not just focus on YouTube, but, you know, launch other businesses that are outside of YouTube, still using YouTube as a place for me to upload my content because that's where a lot of my subscribers are.
Because M Cosmetics wasn't doing very well, Michelle decided to purchase the brand from L'Oreal in 2015 and independently relaunch it in 2017 with a renewed vision and a more minimalist-focused product line. This is when she would step away from Ipsy to focus on M, shifting it to a more curated and artistic line with fewer products. But when she was interviewed by The Cut, Michelle's hiring practices for M would come into question when she shared that she hired people based on their astrology signs. Michelle stated, quote, "I wanted a very nice, diverse, astrological place. If I have a team of water signs, it's going to be too emotional, too volatile. Or if I have too many earth signs, it will be too grounded. If I have too many fire signs, it will be too volatile. Everyone will be competing. I'm an Aries and Sagittarius rising, so I need spontaneity or else I just become really bored." End quote. While this is strange, it's not illegal, as a person's astrology sign is not a protected class like race or gender. In another interview with Cosmopolitan, Michelle shared that in her LA apartment, she has an entire room dedicated to meditation, and when she feels stressed, she sits inside a copper wire-framed pyramid for 15 minutes and meditates. Michelle told the Cosmo reporter, quote, "I don't know if you know this, but scientists in Russia discovered that whenever they put medicine inside of any pyramidal structure, it restructures the molecule's chemicals and increases the potency by 30%. The copper material conducts electricity better. A lot of people say, oh, it's pseudoscience. No, it's not pseudoscience. There's just not money going into research and funding this because no one is interested. That's why I'm researching this, and one day I will fund it too." End quote. When the reporter told her she should start a religion, Michelle said she didn't believe in religion, and her publicist interjected with a laugh and told the reporter not to go there. Michelle also shared that she's not a feminist, and while she profits off the backs of the very feminists who earned her rights like having access to her own bank account or being the CEO of a company, later in the article, Michelle wrongly states that feminism is about celebrating women and not men, when feminism is really about achieving gender equality in all areas of life. Michelle went on to say, quote, When you read about the real history of where feminism comes from, it came from a very political point of view. I don't believe in bringing any politics to an idea like feminism. I love the idea that women should be celebrated, but I also believe men should be too. We need both, yin and yang, end quote. She also added that she's not even a humanist because what about animals? By 2016, Michelle had 8.5 million subscribers and made Forbes' 30 Under 30 list. By this time, Variety reported her AdSense revenue was at an all-time high of $60,000 a month. And then, while at her peak, Michelle Phan completely disappeared from the internet. The internet wondered what happened to Michelle. Why was she nowhere to be found? She didn't make a post or video as to why she was leaving, she just left. Her last video was uploaded in July of 2016 and titled Mastering the Art of Hair Removal. In the video, Michelle looked like her happy self, but her fans would find out she was anything but when 1 year later she posted a video titled Why I Left. Michelle claimed she believed money could buy happiness, and she was proud that she reached her goal of retiring her mother and taking care of her family. But over time, she became a product selling a product. She didn't feel like who she was online when offline. Michelle said her vanity became a prison and her insecurities got the best of her. In her own words, she left everything, all her work and responsibilities behind, and spent much of the following year in nature without Wi-Fi or distractions. Followers were grateful for Michelle's return, but over the next few years, they noticed something still seemed off. The first thing that happened was in 2019 when a man named Michael Avenatti entered Michelle's life. Michael was an attorney, and Michelle hired him to help her negotiate a $35 million deal selling back her ownership interest in Ipsy. Once the deal went through, she received $27 million from Michael's firm, but $8 million was still missing. This is when Michelle's people started getting the runaround from Michael's firm. After demanding to know where her $8 million was, Michael wired her another $4 million and told her the other $4 was somewhere in the ether, and his firm was going to place a trace on the wire. This, of course, didn't happen. Michael was a scammer who had embezzled from his clients for years. With the millions of dollars he stole, he got his firm out of bankruptcy, spent lavishly on himself, opened a coffee shop called Tully's with actor Patrick Dempsey, in which Michael would funnel that business's money to his own personal accounts while not paying payroll taxes, and he bought himself a private plane. It's unclear if Michelle got her missing millions back, but after attempting to extort Nike for $25 million, and the missing millions owed to his other clients, including Stormy Daniels, came to light, Michael Avenatti was convicted and sentenced to 14 years in prison in 2022. It was only 1 year after this scandal that Michelle began sharing during the 2020 pandemic that burning antiviral essential oils would help kill COVID-19 bacteria before it entered your nose. What was actually misinformation, Michelle called alternative medicine. Then, in 2021, Michelle began posting about the power of money and urging her followers to invest in Bitcoin, something she claimed to have invested in back in 2012. She went on multiple podcasts to talk about Bitcoin, one in which she stated she red-pilled herself to learn about Bitcoin, and even did a sponsored Bitcoin giveaway with Cash App. Fans were left confused as to why Michelle was more concerned with their wallets than skincare and makeup. Then there was the BDSM culty thing. Michelle began promoting something called mistress classes by a dominatrix who goes by the name Colette Pervette. On Colette's website, mistress classes are described as an immersive, 2-month-long virtual dominatrix class in which members learn what she calls the sacred healing art of kink. Classes go for over $1,100, but the so-called early bird special gets you in for $888. Members also meet up with Colette offline. But as people began to look into these classes, they became concerned with Colette when they saw a now-deleted Instagram post about a mistress class member meetup where only young Asian women were present. Michelle's followers also found that Colette was writing highly disturbing blog posts where she spoke about someone she calls her sister wife. In other posts, she wrote of her male partner having multiple sugar babies and grooming said young women for him as her sister wives. She also wrote about drug use and how she fantasizes with her partner about her extremely young sister wife being like their underage daughter they get to you-know-what. Yeah. And I can't go into any more detail than that due to YouTube's community guidelines. It was alleged that Colette could be using her classes as a way to find sugar babies for her partner David, a man who goes by the name P and allegedly has an Asian fetish. This is all alleged, and I want to be clear, I am not calling the BDSM community or anyone in a polyamorous relationship a cult. But if the allegations were true, as Michelle's fans feared, using the classes as a recruitment tool wouldn't be outside the norm of what cults, high-control organizations, or traffickers do. After all, the Smallville actress Allison Mack facilitated acting classes and women's empowerment groups for the sole purpose of finding new NXIVM recruits to become sex slaves for the infamous cult leader, Keith Raniere. Michelle denied that anything sinister was going on, but her followers weren't so sure. Around this same time, Michelle released an M Cosmetics bronzer called Corselet and marketed it as, quote, their most sensual collection yet. Then, out of nowhere, only a few months later in May of 2022, Michelle posted an Instagram story to her nearly 2 million followers that through meditation, she had healed a man in a wheelchair. Her story post read, quote, I can't even begin to articulate how incredibly life-changing today was. I'm still processing all the miracles I witnessed and the miracle I became today. I finally felt what true love is, not in a romantic sense, divine love. This was all through intentional meditation with breath work. I saw angels. I experienced complete bliss and joy that I've never experienced in my life. I healed a man who was in a wheelchair for years. He's not only walking now, but dancing with joy. There's so much more. I'm still processing all of this. I'm feeling so much love because I am love. Love is me. I am the universe experiencing itself and I feel infinite. One more note. This meditation retreat is not one of those relaxing spa ones. My friends think I'm relaxing and chillin'. Nah, bro, I'm working. I'm clocking in 4 hours of sleep every day, waking up at 3 a.m. to meditate for 5 hours straight, no breaks, not even for a bathroom. Then we eat, then learn science for 2 hours, then meditate again, then break, and then meditate again. It's work. My favorite part about all this is the coherent healing sessions where we heal people with pain, illness, etc., using the intentional meditation technique and breathwork. Life-changing. The people in this retreat, wow. I've never, ever experienced so much love from strangers in my entire life. I've never felt so safe. This is the most love I've ever received. I showed up skeptical and even considered leaving. 7 days of meditating? I can't even sit still for 5 minutes. My mind wanted to leave, my heart wasn't open, my body was closed up, but my higher self winked at me and said, you'll thank me later. To my higher self, thanks sis, I really needed this. I used to groan at setting these alarms, but now I'm excited to wake up at 4 a.m. to meditate for 5 hours. LMAO, who am I? I am the universe experiencing itself, and I feel loved because I am loved, and so are you. End quote. It was only a few days later that Michelle posted about the leader of this retreat. After the retreat was finished, Michelle posted a story about a man named Joe Dispenza, lavishing him with praise and admiration, saying she always resonated with Dr. Joe Dispenza's story on how he transformed himself using something he calls brain and heart coherence. Joe Dispenza is a chiropractor who sells hope to the hopeless through commercialized spirituality. His 7-day retreats go for over $3,000, and he got on the New York Times bestsellers list with his book titled, You Are the Placebo. The scariest thing about him is that he claims his meditations will cure people who have deadly diseases, and he sells these individual meditations on his website, ranging anywhere from $10 to $30 per meditation. Meditations that have also been translated into 8 languages. He has over 3 million Instagram followers that include Russell Brand, Maria Shriver, and Ana de Armas. He's been mentioned in Goop and has appeared on other popular podcasts with shady individuals in the life coaching industry like Jay Shetty and Marie Forleo. He tells his followers they can change their reality with their thoughts, but it's his story that pulls in the vulnerable. Joe Dispenza claims he was in a bad cycling accident in 1986 that broke his spine. He says he was told by doctors he may never walk again and that he needed spine surgery. This is when Joe says he left the hospital and decided to fix his spine with his mind. He claims that in only 10 weeks he was walking again, and 2 weeks after that he was back at the gym. In a 2018 interview, he said, quote, I made a deal with myself that if I was ever able to walk again, I would spend the rest of my life studying the mind-body connection, and I've been doing that ever since." End quote. Now he tells devoted followers they too can cure themselves. His website has 40 video testimonials of individuals claiming he cured their infertility, multiple sclerosis, and even cancer. His website states that he and his devotees have, quote, "produced profound biological changes in multitudes of individuals around the world and observed hundreds of healings from a wide variety of health conditions." In other podcast interviews, Joe has been heard bragging about curing children with what he calls really serious health conditions. He says he's cured people with Parkinson's, made tumors disappear, made wheelchair-bound people walk, and made the deaf hear and the blind see. One comment on Reddit states, quote, "I cured my breast cancer through Joe Dispenza's teachings, and I think they're integral in this world as so many people need alternative ways to go about their life." End quote. He's what some might call a modern-day Jesus, and his so-called faith healing attracts a lot of spiritual people. Everyone from fitness influencers to yoga instructors to the crunchy homeschooling mom next door, and of course, the terminally ill or those battling autoimmune diseases. The Daily Beast reported, quote, "In one particularly disturbing instance, Dispenza told a 44-year-old woman struggling with infertility that she wasn't getting pregnant because she didn't have happy eggs. The woman had already tried several rounds of fertility treatment and wondered if it was worth the continued cost. The spirit is waiting for you to have happy eggs before you have a kid," Dispenza told her as her eyes filled with tears. "The baby doesn't want to live in guilt. It wants to live in joy. We're going to help you," he added, resting both hands on her shoulders. "You change the field, you change matter. You just need a little help." End quote.
My age is 44. The age of my ex is 40. Then I thought, well, couldn't I just come here and have the age of my ex to go back to 25? Because I feel like I don't want to use donor eggs. I feel that I'm getting pregnant, and they told me that I wouldn't even get pregnant. So my question to you is...
those theys, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But I feel, because she told me, I don't want to break your spirit if we keep trying, but I feel it in my womb. I feel it that those souls are up there for me, waiting for me. So my question to you is, in the meditations, what I've been doing is I've been focusing on the first 3 centers, and I've been focusing on the worthiness, because I think the guilt of waiting too long is what's holding me back.
Mm-hmm.
And the religion.
And the guilt is stored right in the same center as your uterus.
I feel that.
And don't let anybody tell you how your future is going to go. Are you listening to me?
I am.
Now, when we do the coherence healing this week, I want you on the ground. Because we're going to help you, okay? You change the field, you change matter. And if there are little beings hanging out in your field and they're trying to find a way in, then let's make them in. Let's get them in there. Okay? And you just need a little help, a little nudge. Now, guilt is an intoxicating emotion because it really keeps us feeling so bad that sooner or later people start giving us attention because of how bad we feel, and it becomes a trap. So now listen to me. Your eggs can be 44 or 40 or 35. It doesn't matter. Don't get hooked on that. What you want is happy eggs. Yes? That's all you want is happy eggs. Yes. The nest has to be ready for the egg. And it's not coming in until guilt is gone because it doesn't want to live in guilt. It wants to live in joy, and it will live in joy with you because, by gosh, you're going to be a great mama. You understand what I'm saying? Just dial into it.
As a chiropractor, Joe Dispenza has not gone to medical school, yet he uses medical terminology when talking about why his snake oil works. His academic training amounts to only 1.5 years at Rutgers University before transferring to an alternative college called Evergreen. Evergreen has no grades, few major requirements, and accepts 99% of applicants. However, in Joe's online bios, he often cites Rutgers and not Evergreen. After Joe's retreat Michelle attended, she posted that she had never been around so much loving energy and that it was incredibly healing. Love bombing is a term often used with cults, high-control organizations, as well as abusive relationships. Love bombing is a type of emotional manipulation and psychological abuse that involves lavishing someone with praise, affection, gifts, and attention in the beginning of a relationship in an effort to gain trust and compliance. The way Michelle posted about the retreat and Joe Dispenza, it was clear there was a lot of love bombing happening there. If someone isn't educated about cult-like tactics and doesn't have their guard up, love bombing can just feel like you finally found your people, your tribe. They say all the right things, are there for you whenever you need them, and accept you unconditionally. They even seem to get you more than some of your closest friends you've had for years. But if there's one thing that reigns true about cults, nothing is unconditional, and everything is orchestrated with a specific goal in mind. Usually, that goal or goals are for money, sex, or power. Michelle also wrote that the retreat was not a relaxing experience, and in fact was a lot of hard work. She said she only got 4 hours of sleep every night and woke up at 3 a.m. to meditate for 5 hours without any bathroom, food, or water breaks. Love bombing and sleep deprivation go hand in hand. By depriving a member of needed rest, their decision-making ability is reduced and they become more easily persuaded or coerced. Using long-form meditation and obsessive prayer are other ways cults keep a member's mind in a debilitated state. If you're not doing your own thinking because you're focusing on what they told you to think, they're happy to do the real thinking for you, the critical thinking, but only if it's in their best interest. Victims of Joe's have shared their stories online and many on Reddit. One post from April of 2024 reads, quote, "My poor gullible mum fell down the Dispenza rabbit hole over 2 years ago. Her grasp on reality is slipping at an alarming rate. Last year, after her cat passed, she was convinced she'd killed her with negative thoughts. I'm very concerned. 2 days ago, I told her about some work difficulties I've been having as a freelance creative, with AI looming, global crises, budget cuts, and so on. Her response was blaming me for the difficulties, for not having worked enough on my inner self, and that I should dream myself out of my current situation. A cold response in time of need. Textbook Dispenza, because if you haven't achieved your goals so far, it's only because you haven't grasped his message yet. But no worries, just enter your credit card details below." End quote. Another reads, quote, "My dad is a huge follower of Dr. Joe Dispenza. He swears by it and has tried to get me into his teachings, and I've been avoiding it like the plague. My dad has cancer, and instead of doing what the doctors have said, surgery, chemo, etc., my dad got on the Joe Dispenza kick. He swears meditations have changed him and will kill the cancer. It's moved to his lungs, and now other organs aren't working correctly. I'm 99% sure he will be gone within a year, and I will forever blame Dispenza's teachings and my dad's vulnerability for the lack of treatment." End quote. Michelle responded to the backlash of her being involved with a cult in a now-deleted video, in which she said although she's been accused of being in a few cults, she's not predisposed to falling for a cult or groupthink because she's an Aries and is too curious about life and other ideologies to stay consistent in a cult. She also stated she's a lone wolf, so she doesn't need a group. But then she contradicts her previous statements by saying, if she is in a cult, she sees it as a cult of love.
But no, I'm not in a cult. If I was, it's like a cult of love. Is that so bad? That's how I feel. It's the cult of love, and it's not like the new age hippie movement. I'm not using drugs to get to this state of consciousness. I'm literally doing a breathing technique,
Only 3 months after the retreat, Michelle made a different kind of post when she posted about selling a course to teach people how to make a living online. She claimed all you needed was to love being a storyteller. The virtual course was called Summer School with Michelle Phan. It went for 5 weeks and cost $500. One post to advertise the course stated, quote, "Work doesn't have to be something you clock in and clock out of. It can be so much more fulfilling and meaningful. You can make a living being your most creative self. You can make a living from your living room floor. You can make a living while flying high over the clouds. The creator economy is yours for the taking. Are you ready?" End quote. She even held a 3-hour live stream during enrollment with her employee James, in which they promoted a candle that would be a free gift with purchase. With over 8.6 million subscribers, the live stream only received 43,000 views. Michelle said she wanted to help new creators avoid the pitfalls she went through.
Do you want to go through like how you got to summer school, like why you created it?
I created summer school because I think being a big sister, it kind of comes with this territory of wanting to teach, wanting to mentor, wanting to share, like sharing. Like big sisters, we share a lot, we share everything. And I love sharing things that have helped me in life, whether it's when I started off blogging, like my favorite Photoshop brushes to paint, to my favorite makeup products and sunscreen. And now, today, my favorite meditation techniques, mental health techniques, and also, most importantly, what I'm trying to teach with summer school is my favorite techniques on how to have financial stability in your life while also having creative integrity too. I believe it is possible. And people who say it isn't, those are the people who forgot how to dream, to be honest with you. They forgot. Like, I'm here to remind you that I still have my childlike heart. It's possible. It's totally possible, but it's going to take a lot of work. But if you love the work, it's going to be an incredible journey, full of highs and lows. I don't want to give the wrong expectation. It's going to be amazing and awesome. Like, no, you're going to have moments where you're going to cry, you're going to break down, but it is part of the journey.
So I know you're one of the few that actually create content and run a business. And kind of expand past what is even expected of a content creator. Who's this class for then? Is it someone that's striving to be like you, or?
That's a great question. I think anyone who grew up and they thought to themselves that they wanted to become a singer, or they wanted to be an artist like me, or they wanted to be a storyteller, a director, they wanted to become a star. People who wanted to pursue their passion. This is who summer school is for. Are the dreamers. Summer school is literally for the dreamers like me. And the thing is, because I grew up with someone who, they hurt me growing up as a kid, but I learned a very important lesson from this person who was obsessed. Like, he was so obsessed with dreaming this and dreaming that. And I realized dreams are free. I can dream right now 20 different things, awesome ideas, but goals, that takes work. Goals are not free. Goals take work and energy and time and commitment, and there's discipline. But if you have these dreams and you can blend it with goals and you could stick with it, you can literally change your life, just like me, what I did.
What about if you already have full-time job or full-time school?
Good question. Just like me, just don't have a social life. You have to sacrifice something.
It seems like the course ended up being a one and done. The Instagram account created for it is still up, but everything regarding the course is abandoned, as the last post was made in 2022 and the website link listed is no longer active. In the now deleted video I mentioned earlier, where Michelle said she wasn't in a cult and didn't do drugs like the New Age hippie movement to get to a higher state of consciousness, in an interview with Bretman Rock from February of 2023, she directly contradicts herself when she mentions having done ayahuasca, which is a plant-based psychedelic.
But during that time, I realized that they were hurt and they were projecting stuff onto me. So I had to go through a whole journey. I told you, I took plant medicine, I took ayahuasca and all of that. My state of consciousness shifted where I realized, wait, like, we're actually all one. We are the universe experiencing each other, and we need to remind each other that we're beautiful. So where I see beauty shifting more towards is really consciousness, where, you know what I'm saying? Because now we're more aware. Now we have the younger generation who grew up online, and they're just more aware about the world, and we're becoming more aware about ourselves. So where we're going next is we need to all be one together, unified together.
In the last couple of years, Michelle keeps busy posting a plethora of content about M Cosmetics on her Instagram and TikTok, and on YouTube, where she started a podcast called Afterglow. She will occasionally upload a beauty or skincare tutorial, but usually only if she's selling something, and her followers have called her out on this. In June of 2024, she posted a picture of all the books she plans to read on her next vacation. At the time of this recording, she is still a follower of Joe Dispenza, who is still spouting pseudoscience, and she's never shown any proof or given the name of the man in a wheelchair she claimed to heal. This has been the story and evolution of Michelle Phan, YouTube's original beauty guru. Once again, thank you to Secret Puzzle Society for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to download the Secret Puzzle Society using the link in the description box or the QR code.